according to the scripture and also according to the ancient texts, most of which did not make it into the Bible, there was war in heaven. And the major players of this war, according to some interpretation, several interpretations, for example, from the Mesopotamians, the war was between the dragon and a woman. And don't you think that it's very interesting that in Revelation there is still a war between the dragon and a woman, because the woman gives birth again, because actually the woman has been giving birth, but something happened to the woman that caused this reproduction of the woman to be something that is not as successful or not as safe as it had always been. In Revelation, it is written that when the woman was in birth pains, the dragon waited for her to bring forth the child. And when the child was brought forth, the dragon pursued the child and the woman. It's also written that the child was caught up in the wilderness and protected, shielded from the dragon. So this is a war that is not new. The dragon and the woman started fighting. When you go to ancient text, look at the Sophia of Christ, look at the Apocryphon of John, look at other scripts that may not be necessarily scripture, that refer to the same war between the dragon and the woman. The woman is an actual spiritual being. Forget the misleading interpretations that you've been getting from all over the place. The woman exists as a spirit, a very powerful spirit that has power to produce principalities. That's why the darkness and the dragon is also in existence as a spirit. Also, disassociate yourself from all kinds of interpretations of what you've been told is the dragon. That really minimizes what spiritual war is all about. Now, according to the Apocryphon of John, when rebellion was born by this woman actually has, remember I've said that this is the spirit that has power to reproduce principality. So that means that in the end of times, there's a principality that will come forth. And this principality will be the ruler of the earth, including the dragon. And that dragon has a problem with it. So, So according to the records of the ancients, this fight that was in the heavens, the earth is not big enough for this fight. It's part of it, but it's part of the body of the woman, according to the ancients. So it is written that the woman was bound, and if you read the text called the Sophia of Jesus, which is wrongfully titled, you will have a clue of this bondage and also of the release from this bondage. This is a very powerful spirit that is under bondage. It is a spirit which the earth is part of. We are in a world or a universe whose dimensions is incomprehensible. The earth is like a piece of an electron in an atom, if you consider the great expanse of the universe. So don't look at the earth as a very huge thing. Consider it as part of an element that we cannot perceive due to how minute we are in the cosmos. That element forms the body of this spirit that we call the spirit of the woman, the same woman that gives birth in Revelation. So as men, we come from the same, because we are born in that bondage that this woman was bound in by the dragon. So that is where we come from, and we are part of this woman. That's why you will fight from the moment that you enter this world to the moment that you leave, because that war that was started by the dragon is ongoing, because you're a child of the woman. You're part of the angelic being that the woman continues to bring forth. There's a reason why it's written in Genesis that God made man from the dust of the earth. That earth was part of a being that is in bondage. That's why the power of men right now is unlimited, but it's also why that I've made my previous video that men are angels, because all the offspring of this woman are principalities who, by their workings, bring forth angelic powers or angels. That's why it's written that bring forth fruit worthy of the Spirit, because as men, you also continue to reproduce angelic essences, angelic beings, angelic powers. So if what's coming out of you is a result of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, or as God calls it, whoring, that's why God speaks about brides and weddings in reference to his relationship with men, because it is that union that brings forth spirits according to his kind. If you're united to a demon, you'll bring forth, there's a likelihood that you'll bring forth something that is mixed with darkness. Okay? That's why he's talking about being filled with the Spirit of God, being filled with holiness, righteousness, peace, joy, goodness, godliness, because that is what you bring forth, not just in physical generations, but spiritually. You continue to produce powers that have life, powers that are angels.